Experiencias académicas, culturales y personales compartidos por estudiantes internacionales en el TEC de Monterrey. Welcome to the space in which students from all over the world share their exchange experiences with us. Una visión única de quienes llegan a nuestro país y la travesía de los que se van en busca de una experiencia global. Esto es Global Connections con Carolina Alcántara. Iniciamos.
Hola y bienvenidos a Global Connection. En esta ocasión el episodio va a ser en inglés, así que voy a cambiar al idioma. Hello everyone, welcome to Global Connection. I'm Carolina Alcántara, an international student advisor here at TEC de Monterrey, Campus Monterrey. And today we will explore the lives of exchange students at TEC de Monterrey. And the students that we have today as participants, our guests are from Switzerland. So we have Dino. How do I say your last name?
Kamer.
Welcome, Dino.
Thank you, Carolina.
And we also have Analia. It's okay. Yeah. You need to help me as well.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Analia.
But your last name?
Kresig.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
That was actually very good.
I'm gonna stay with you, Analia. Well, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having
Thanks
us.
for inviting us.
You're the first people in being guests in the show from Switzerland.
Oh,
Yeah.
feeling very honored.
Good. Yeah.
So it's exciting having you. We're gonna have a show talking more about like your experience so far here at TEC de Monterrey and how it's been in Mexico, and also if you can tell also students what they can expect if they do an exchange in Switzerland. Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Sounds
Yes.
great.
Very great.
Well, stay tuned. You're listening to Global Connection here in Tech Sounds Radio.
Crónicas de un intercambio. La experiencia de vivir en México. Chronicles of an Exchange.
Well, in Chronicles of an Exchange, it's talking a little bit more about your experience here at TEC de Monterrey. And, well, for starters, tell us what university you're from, what are your majors or your masters, for instance, and why did you choose TEC de Monterrey?
Okay, so my master in Switzerland is called Business Innovation, and here I'm doing the Business Masters at XHTEC. And why I chose Monterrey, I already wanted to do an exchange during my bachelor's, and in my bachelor's I wanted to go somewhere in Europe, so staying pretty close. But then COVID came and I couldn't go, and so for my master's I was like, okay, I want to go far away from Switzerland. I wanted to go somewhere where the weather is nice, where it's hot, where the sun is out all the time. And also I heard so many good things about the culture here and the people being very open and outgoing. And so all of these points convinced me to come to Mexico. And then Monterrey, because it was the only master university in the whole of Mexico where I could study in English. Yeah, so that's how I landed.
Yeah, so I study international management at the Zurich University of Applied Sciences, and it's a partner university of the TEC de Monterrey. And in our study program, it's mandatory to do a study year abroad. So I was considering different options, but I really like the idea of going to Latin America. So I've been traveling here before, like in Costa Rica, and I really like the culture, like how open the people were. And I just wanted to live in a different culture with a different language, as I thought that it would give me an opportunity to learn more than if I would stay in Europe, for example. And yeah, so far I had a great time here, so I have no regrets about doing that.
Same.
How much time have you been so far here in Mexico?
I arrived July last year, so I'm here for nearly a year now.
Wow.
For me, it's a bit less. I arrived at the end of January, but my master my classes only started at the beginning of April.
But I mean, you have been already.
I could do a lot of travel and just already being here, having a good time. So that was super nice.
How did you meet?
Actually, we met through another Swiss friend who's so her roommate.
Yes, Flavio. Hello, Flavio.
He's a friend of a friend of me. So I had briefly contact with him before he arrived here this semester, and because they're roommates, then we met, and yeah.
Yeah, I think we arrived here on Saturday, and then on Tuesday, Flavio said to me, "Hey, Dino invited us for dinner already." And I was like, "Oh, that's so
barbecue.
Nice! Let's go!" Exactly.
Introducing them to the Monterrey
Mexican culture,
Mexican culture, and the Monterrey,
Yes,
of course,
exactly.
The real culture here.
Great protein.
And it's super nice that you also live so close by. So we went to dinner like on our 4th day of arriving here.
And when you speak together, what language do you speak? Because in Switzerland, how many languages do you speak?
There are 4 official languages. But we're living quite close to each other, so we both speak Swiss German.
Yes.
To each other.
And what is Swiss German?
Good question. The words are coming from German, from High German, and some of the words are also the same, just how we pronounce it is different. And also in Swiss German, for example, you can take what would be 2 words in German and we would kind of make a weird mix out of it, and then it's only 1 word left. So it's pretty fun here also talking with the Germans, because most of them don't understand Swiss German. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a little secret language.
Exactly.
No, I always explain in a way that it's like a heavy slang of a language, which has like no official rules, so it's only more of a spoken language. Yeah. So when we speak together, there's no official rules. You can change words, and as long as you understand, it's like official. So it's difficult to grasp, yeah.
And I think for a foreign, it would be impossible to get what.
Totally, yes, yeah. I think so. And also Flavio, he's from Basel, which is like 2 hours away from where I grew up, and he sometimes like builds the sentences very differently than me. So how would you ever learn like what Swiss German is?
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, because I mean, you might think that when you go to a country, if you're already speaking German, you're already for instance, if someone speaks German and goes to Switzerland, they're gonna be like, I already know how to communicate. But then they start speaking this weird language, and they're like, I guess I don't know the language that well.
Exactly. Yes. But we could at least understand this person and then talk just in High German, because it's the language that we learn in school, and like everything is in German.
All official publications and everything is in German. Also, like our news, basically when we go to school, everything is in normal German, I say it. And we just speak it with our friends and family and stuff, but everything official is normal German. That's why we can perfectly understand them and also speak with them if we want to.
If we want to. So would you say that if you go to Switzerland, everything, the main language, since you say you have 4, so every part you travel, there's gonna be a different type of official language that everything's written first? Like you go to the bus station, and the bus station sign, is it gonna be, and everywhere is gonna be in German, or in the part of that it's more German, in the part that it's more Italian?
Yeah, exactly like this.
Wow, yeah. That's great.
Yeah. Like it's such a small country, but still the signs and everything is soon, like sometimes you can literally, there are some villages that are like right on the language border. As soon as you cross, like you can walk 100 meters and the shields change the language.
Wow. And do you know all the official languages?
No, me neither.
I think we both learned French in school.
Yes.
So we can use that. But Italian and Romansh is like these 2 languages, because it represents a smaller portion of the country. So not a lot of people actually speak it.
Wow. That's crazy, because I mean, you might think that if you go to Switzerland, everything's gonna be just one language, but then you just go from one city to another and it completely changes then.
Yes, totally.
Wow. Oh my god.
Makes it a bit more interesting.
Yeah, it makes it a lot more interesting. And well, I want to talk a little bit more in Sweden in the next part of the episode, but I'm going to have a mental note about because they say that it's a really expensive country compared to Mexico. Would you say that do you find it cheaper here? Or because they said Monterrey is a little bit expensive as well, so.
True.
Especially for me, what may be more expensive here if I do grocery shopping.
Here?
Yeah, I feel like here on a weekly basis I pay more than back home because healthy stuff is quite expensive here, whereas back home it's more like the junk food can be more expensive than healthy food. And so depending on your buying habits, it can become more expensive here buying groceries than back in Switzerland.
Okay.
Yes. But like other costs like rent or eating out especially, it's like way cheaper here, or going out, going to the cinema, doing stuff in your free time. That's much more cheaper here. Yeah.
Uber.
Yeah, imagine an Uber. And if we would have to use Uber as often in Switzerland as we use it here, we would be
in a week.
Really?
No, I feel like if you take an Uber for half an hour, you would probably pay 100.
At least.
$100 or 100 euros compared.
At least.
At least.
I think then it's cheaper to rent a car, maybe.
Can be expensive as well.
Walk.
Yeah, just walk.
I mean, we have a very, very good public transportation system, so that's very nice.
Ah, yeah.
At
least.
But that can also be expensive.
Steal a bike and don't get caught.
Use your legs.
Use your legs.
Oh god. So far, what do you think about Mexico as a country?
I love it here. I'm really having the best time. I love the weather. I know that a lot of people are warning me that it gets even hotter and in summer it's really unbearable. But so far I'm enjoying it a lot. And I think also just the people, they are so welcoming here. It's super nice. Like I was never once homesick or anything. I really like it.
No, I totally agree. It's a great experience. And I feel like both of us are quite spontaneous people, which are not a lot of Swiss people, I guess. And so I would say we fit right into the culture because, we come when we want and we leave when we want. And there's so many of these random side quests happening all the time. And I'm so down for it because it's like you wake up in the morning and you never know, are you still in the same country in the evening? Are you at the beach? Like so many like random things happen all the time. And makes it very interesting and exciting every day.
I love how you say side quest. Like you're playing a game.
Yeah.
The game of life.
The game of life in Mexico.
Chapter 1. No, for you it's chapter 1, for you will be chapter 2. Oh my god. Yeah, I think the nice thing about Mexico, it's that people feel welcome. Well, from what generally I've heard about international students, that when they come here they feel welcome.
Totally, yes.
And in their country they say it's different for foreign people going, right?
Yeah, like here it happens, like if I look back at my first semester, it happens so often that just people on the campus approach me and like ask me, hey, where are you from? And like some of them are my friends till now, and like it's so cool. It's just like the openness, because like in Switzerland it would take so much to just talk to a stranger you don't know. And here it's just part of the culture that you're open and you're welcoming. You bring people to the party of your friend of your friend. And so much opportunity to get to know a lot of people.
It's so random that you say that someone approached you, like they just saw you on campus and they were like, he's not Mexican.
You don't belong here.
I also had it when I was, for example, with Flavio on the campus and we were speaking Swiss German. Like a lot of people approached us and asked, oh, is this German that you're speaking, or from where are you? Because they heard that we speak another language, and then they were just super interested.
Wow.
Thought,
that's so nice.
It's super cute,
Yeah. And like you said, you only meet someone once and then they are already like, okay, my birthday party is this weekend, you should come. And just
Wow.
Like 2 weeks ago, I was in Mexico City, and the friend of a friend had a birthday party. And of course I went there because side quest. And it was amazing. You know, I met her like twice before, and straight on she welcomed me to her family. Her abuela was there.
What?
And the whole
Oh
friend
my
group.
God.
And it was just so exciting. It's so nice to see that point, that side of Mexico, because like in Switzerland, I feel like it takes a long time of friendship until you're invited to a birthday party.
With the family and everyone. Right?
Yeah.
And I think it's nice because when you come as a tourist, you wouldn't be able to enjoy those type of interactions. Only if you live here, you're actually available to have those interactions with people from here.
Totally.
Yeah, if you're just going to Cancun to the beach resort, yeah.
To Tulum,
It's,
then you just go there and get some electronic music and, well, bye-bye.
You haven't been to Mexico.
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fun part of Mexico, but it's not the real Mexico.
Yeah.
And what do you think when you compare Monterrey to other parts of Mexico?
Maybe if we compare it to Mexico City, which I really love. I think there of course it depends in which areas you are in, but in some areas it's like way more walkable, or you have more trees, a little bit more nature. I think that's something that I do not appreciate in Monterrey, is that it is so designed for cars.
Yeah.
And there I could also see the difference in the prices between Mexico City and Monterrey, and you could really see, okay, Monterrey is a bit more expensive than maybe the rest of Mexico. Yeah.
And also how like the north here in general, Monterrey is a bit, I would say, Americanized.
Yeah.
It's very similar to Texas in some aspects, of course, still very different. But I think it's still interesting to see both parts, like traveling south, I don't know, to Oaxaca or to Mexico City, and then coming back to Monterrey. I mean, it's different parts of the country, and it's fine that there are differences, because if everything would be the same, it would be somehow boring as well. And here, of course, there are a lot of businesses, and there's beautiful places right here as well, like the mountains. We're used to mountains from back home, and here we have mountains for hiking as well. So
Are they really different?
Yeah, I mean, especially the plants you have, they are very different. No, how do you describe it, the difference?
Because when I think about Switzerland, I think of a cow in a mountain, and some chocolate there, and some cheese, fondue.
I would say here it's different. You know, in Switzerland also life takes place in the mountains. I feel like here people are just going to the mountains and then leaving again. And back home, like people, like some farmers or stuff, they actually live in the mountains during summer months. They have their animals there, and people go camping in the mountains. And it's not just going and leaving again, but it's more about being there. This is how I would describe the biggest difference. And of course, the environment is different. There are different plants.
Yeah, because the plants here seem that the trees are taller, and it seems like everything's just green.
Yes, at some points that's definitely
not as dry as here. Yeah. Even though today there was rain, but like it felt like the first time.
Oh my god!
Is it really different, the weather, how it changes here, or does that happen also in Switzerland? That sometimes it's like really cold, and then the rain, and then like super hot.
We say we have that in April, right?
Yeah,
It's our crazy weather month.
But of course we have more seasons. The seasons are like harsher than here, so we have like summer and autumn and spring and winter. And I feel like here it can change drastically so much. Like I was here in February and it was like 30 degrees, and like 2 days after it was 2 degrees. Yeah. And so that showed me, I was like, what? And of course, compared to, we have weather changes as well, but not that drastically in 24 hours.
That was hard. Especially because the houses are not equipped for the cold weather. And I was also asking the Mexican friends that I met so far in February, and said, hey, what are you doing now that it's raining and it's super cold? And they were all like, yeah, we're just staying home. So I feel like this is really not a time where you do a lot of things when it gets this cold. But luckily, it's only for a few days.
Yeah.
It passed fast.
What was your side quiz during those days? Nino was like, Puertos contigo.
Probably leaving the country straight on. No, I don't even remember. Like, actually, I enjoy the heat. Like, I enjoyed the cold as well because last semester was quite hot for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And so it was nice. It's a bit cooler now. We could like go for runs outside, doing sports for once without like being drained with water after 5 minutes because of the sweat. So that was quite enjoyable for once to do. Like we went to the soccer field and just did hiking. Like it was the best time for hiking in the year because now if it's 40 degrees and you go out for 5 minutes, you're not gonna climb the mountain.
Of course not. Yeah, because if it's that hot, also the mountain's gonna be a difficult trail. Like getting used to the heat. But I think the nice thing is that there's shade when you go, for instance, to Chipinque.
That's true.
Bueno, a todos los que nos están escuchando, estamos ahorita con Dino y Analí, que nos están contando un poquito sobre su experiencia de intercambio aquí en México, en el TEC de Monterrey. Y pues continuamos con la siguiente sección. Les voy comentando, el programa es en inglés en esta ocasión y nos están contando su experiencia como suizos acá en México. Así que continuamos con la siguiente sección. Recuerden que están escuchando Global Connection aquí en Tech Sounds Radio.
A miles de kilómetros, descubriendo un mundo de posibilidades. Thousands of miles.
We are back. Did you saw my Spanish there? Well, in this section is basically telling students what they should know about doing an exchange in Switzerland.
Oh, yeah, don't.
Stay at home. Go to a different country.
Well, usually a tech student is the one that tells a little bit more about this information, but now we have you guys. You're the real deal from there. You need sell us the country.
We can say the country, but
but I feel I can't even tell you that much about being an exchange student in Switzerland because you're not doing a lot of things with the exchange students that we had. For example, if there were some in my class, as a Swiss person, and this is now terrible looking back, but you didn't want to be in the same group as the exchange students because you knew or you thought then you had to do a lot of more work, like the work from them you had to do too, or at least look over it. So you weren't welcoming and me too, I wasn't welcoming at all. So this is really something I'm taking. I'm taking with from Monterrey to be way more open with exchange students and other people in general. So I think if you're an exchange student coming to Switzerland, it's difficult to get in contact with like Swiss people. Maybe really try to do. I know in my university we have a lot of extracurricular activities, so maybe really try those. And I think these are also the situations where people are a bit more open to really getting to know you. So maybe this as a tip.
I would agree with that. I feel like in my university we had a lot of exchange students as well, but I never had classes actually with them. But there were very little encounters with them. But I feel like if you want to get in touch with Swiss people, our university offers like a wide sports program with like different here the live classes. And I feel like if you go into these classes regularly, for example the run club or something else, this is where you can actually get to know people. And also I think Swiss people are generally open to meet people, and it's surely possible to like get friends there and then get recommendations.
Maybe they regularly like meet them several times. It's different than here where you meet a person once and they are already inviting you to all the stuff. Maybe you have to meet the same person.
You need patience.
More time. But I mean, otherwise, Switzerland is so beautiful. The nature there is amazing. So this is another selling point.
Yeah,
I think
you have a lot of you have a lot of opportunities for side quests as well.
Yes.
No, because the country is so small, you can literally be in university in the morning and go skiing in the afternoon if you really want to do it. So there's a lot of space for activities. Just you need to I feel like, especially coming from Mexico, you need to be aware of the differences from an academic perspective. That maybe, during the semester, we don't have tareas or a lot of homework during the semester, or like midterm exams, very rarely. So during the semester, you feel like you're not really under pressure. But in the end, you have 5 exams in 1 week that each count 100%. So choose wisely how you spend the semester, and maybe not just wait until the end, because it will backfire heavily.
Oh my god.
And something that I heard from a friend that is Mexican and actually went to Germany for an exchange was that she didn't think the weather could be this bad, but like you can get a week where it's raining every day, and then it's dark and cold, and just like, especially when you're coming from Mexico, like keep that in mind.
Bring a red light lamp.
Embrace the weather. Embrace the weather. No, because we're not that afraid of rain, so we still go outside if there's rain and snow, and we don't stay in our house like the Mexicans do. And maybe just try to do this as well. It opens new perspectives as well.
And what about San Moritz? I have heard that it's like, is it something like you do regularly, or like people like from Switzerland go and ski
every
there?
weekend.
What about every weekend, every day?
No, where I'm coming from is called a little town called Bad Ragaz, and we have a ski resort, a very small one, but still a nice one, very close to us. So in like 10 minutes, I'm on the ski slope. So I'm always going there, and if you have a ski resort that close by, that is also way cheaper than St. Moritz, because St. Moritz is very expensive. You don't usually go to St. Moritz. And I feel also, what we may not have that much is après-ski, like the party after skiing in our ski resort.
It's called après-ski?
Après-ski, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know we had a word.
Of
No,
course.
there's a whole music genre. You should play some of these songs.
In that note, we're gonna keep in mind. We're just gonna go to a short break and then we're gonna go back, ¿ok? Bueno, recuerden que están escuchando Global Connection y vamos a un pequeño corte comercial y regresamos.
El desafío, la integración cultural, the challenge.
Well, in the note that we had before, now coming to the challenge. Before going to this section, I wanna wrap up on what we were talking before. So when people think about Switzerland, they always think like, okay, it's expensive going to these, like, it's gonna be really expensive for my budget, right? So they should be prepared for that, or it's depends where they go, or well, I think it also depends on that. But how would you assess that they should manage?
I think in general, assuming that it's gonna be expensive is a good way to do it, because I think it is quite expensive. Of course, you have regional differences, like for example for the rent that can like vary depending on where you're living, but other points like public transportation or groceries, it's like almost the same, or it's more or less the same in Switzerland, like depending of course in which supermarket you buy. But so you have some points where you can like save a bit of money, but overall I'd say it's quite expensive.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, there's always parts where you can save money. I mean, of course, if you buy a car and stuff, it will be more expensive. But in general, you can, of course, it's not going to be cheap, but you can make it yourself cheaper or more expensive, depending on how you live.
Yeah, if you go every weekend to St. Moritz to do a side quest,
it's gonna be expensive.
But I mean, especially if you're an exchange student and you want to see a lot of Switzerland, then it's gonna be expensive. And it would also be a bit sad if you go to Switzerland and then, because of budgeting, don't do a lot of
activities. Yeah,
of course. So if you hear everything about this, I would say take the note and save money.
To work.
Yeah, in other words, what Dina said. Well, in this section, the challenge is more about saying what were some cultural shocks that you had when you came to Mexico.
I mean, I only had positive culture shocks, I would say. I mean, from negative point, maybe, you know, everything is with cars and you have to drive everywhere. You have to drive to the supermarket, which is ridiculous.
I mean, you could walk, but you're gonna have to carry.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you live near tech.
But apart from that, I only had like positive culture shocks, like how open the people were, and even more than I anticipated.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Like time-wise, there hasn't been a shock with that, because I mean you have German side. So.
yeah. I mean, in Switzerland, punctuality is very important. Like you always arrive before time. But we knew, or at least I knew before coming here, that they're not that much on time. But of course, in the first few weeks, I maybe arrived like 10 minutes late, 14 minutes late. And then maybe after a month, I was an hour late like the Mexicans, and we meet on time. So you slowly adjust. And I think soon we'll have to slowly adjust back.
Yeah, I think I myself not a very punctual person, so I actually like this about Mexico.
You're like, this fits me.
Exactly.
Finally,
yes.
You're finally my people.
I found my place. Yeah.
And no, somehow it's also refreshing, because you know, when you're at home and you have to go be somewhere in half an hour and you do something, you don't have to rush. You just finish it in your time, and then you go there and you get there when you get there, and nobody's angry at you. So that's quite nice.
So that's important for Mexicans to know, that if you need to be punctual if you go to Switzerland.
Totally.
Yeah.
So
we'll learn it.
How much time before the
5 minutes?
5 minutes is like at least.
At least I'd say, yeah.
Wow.
And if the bus says it comes at 10, then it comes at 10, and not a minute later.
Yes. Maybe a bit earlier.
Maybe a bit earlier.
Oh God.
We have to run.
Yeah. That actually happened to me in Canada. That we were there, and it was the last bus after going to a club, and we were like just waiting there, and we arrived on the time, and the bus was already leaving. That's the last bus. Okay, bye.
Yes, that's what I hate, because as I said, I'm not punctual, and this happened to me a lot of times.
And then you have to run to the bus. Like,
No, and then you have to go walk
yeah.
or pay a really expensive cab.
Yeah.
Because cabs are expensive in Switzerland,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
More than Uber? Or
Yeah.
are they kind of the same?
No, more than Uber, I'd say.
But I also
never use them.
yes, same. I don't know
expensive.
people that use that
Like,
regularly, at least.
I think we prefer walking home for like 2 hours rather than taking a cab. Usually.
Wow. No,
But for the last 3 years, I lived in Zurich, and there you almost like at all times have a tram or a bus, like any sort of public transportation. So you're also never like really in a need to use cabs or Uber. Yeah.
And like regarding maybe let's just say going out and hours, like for instance, like is it the same like the time when you go out here and when you go out in Switzerland? Or because we know that for if people from Spain, the time that the clubs close here, for instance, there is the time they're going to the club, you know.
True, I was so surprised that the clubs closed this early here. Yeah, that was a cultural
Like
shock.
at 2 o'clock, everything was closed. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yes, what do you
I
mean?
I wouldn't say we're like the Spanish people going to the
No.
club at 3 o'clock in the morning, but maybe at 12.
Yes.
And at around what
Yeah.
time they close usually?
5
Yeah.
a.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
still. I mean, well, you have the after parties here. That's one.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
True.
to continue.
To continue the pre and the after party.
You have like 3 parties in one night.
And then carne asada the next day.
Yeah,
That's the life.
that's why you don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And would you say that regarding academic things like tech, did you have something shocking related to, like for instance, do you have absence in like you can be absent in like never go to classes, or is it like that?
In Switzerland, yes, we don't have attendance really. So I think that would have been a shock, but so far at my university at XHTEC, we also don't, like the professors are not very strict on attendance, so that's super nice.
Well, we have to
Here
make
they're
it clear.
quite
Yeah,
strict,
like
yeah.
the thing is that Eileen, am I pronouncing it correctly?
Analia.
Annalie.
Analia.
I was like, I just connected the A to the Lee. I was like, yeah, I went to the A to the Lee.
I mean, that's more easy to say.
Yeah, I went like, instead of Annalie, I went Lee. I Lee. In my mind. Well, and Annalie, she is in a master degree program at XHTEC, and Dino is in the like degree, taking courses from different like. What are you taking different or just from a specific?
No, I taking course from different classes, so
yeah.
I have classes from very different departments. Again, side quest.
Side quest.
No, like I'm taking, of course, I'm doing my major like in business, so I have a lot of business courses in finance, accounting, and but this semester I also took some law courses and
Just for the fun of
just
it.
for the fun of it, yeah. So I can judge internationally, not only in Switzerland. And yeah, also some international relations courses I'm taking this semester, and sustainability. So it's quite wide. See a bit of everything, which is nice. Yeah.
The side quiz was seeing a little bit of every career.
Yeah.
You were just missing medicine because it's in another department.
Yeah, I should go there one day.
But yeah, I think that's something important to like state that like international students that come here at Tech, like they need to that are doing undergraduate courses, they need to attend, because I think it's not the same like. Well, I'm not sure because I'm an advisor for the undergraduates, but I think in the master, you don't need to be delivering like every time you go to class things, or do you?
No, I think most of the time we still also do.
I mean,
yeah, and
it's just a professor that they are not like you can do it at home.
I think you just have to like upload it online, but you don't have he is not taking notes who is attending the class.
Okay.
But you still have this very homework-like deliverables that we don't really have like that in Switzerland.
It's primary school style for us.
Yes, really like back to high school.
And what do you think about it compared to what you're used to?
I much prefer what I'm used to because you're more flexible, and I feel you're also more independent and responsible for your own like grade and success, but you can do it at your own tempo and when you're free. So, and I think that's also a very important skill to have, like this time management, to really learn that, instead of here where you just have to do something every week and you have these little homeworks. Yeah.
I partly agree. I agree with the point that it's nice to have a bit more flexibility, but also like the homeworks here, I feel like they take pressure away towards the end of the semester or the cycle, because you're not forced to deliver everything in 1 week, to have all the pressure in 1 week. It's more divided throughout the cycle and throughout the semester. But of course, you need to, like every week, every day, you have to think, okay, I have this deadline today, I have this tomorrow. So you need to plan accordingly, and you're less flexible. So it has like both sides, positive and negative.
That's true. You have these 2 months where it's a study phase in Switzerland, where you're like not doing anything else than studying, and you're a little depressed.
A little would be good.
And yeah, super stressed because everything depends mostly on this one grade. So I get that point too.
Yeah. I think everything has its positive side.
Totally, yes.
Negative side, right? But yeah, I think this the thing that has been really interesting is that a lot of other countries that we have invited here, they also have that kind of aspect of they need to study at the end for a big exam, and that's the ultimate exam that's gonna count. So I think sometimes it's not everyone can retain that amount of information sometimes, and it's difficult, right?
It is very difficult. But I feel like it's the design of the education system. Like we're learning how to, or like we're getting used to this system from a very young age on, where we will have like in middle or high school, we already have these final exams at the end of a year, for example. And through this, we're more used to it, like more maybe used to the pressure of like delivering in a short time, studying in a short time, and then delivering on point. Whereas here it's more like, they want us to, I feel like here the focus is more, they want really people to learn it and to understand it and to know it. Whereas back home, it's just about putting as much into your head as possible, which is also not always positive, because I feel like I forget it much faster than with the education system here. Because here, like if you discuss things in your class, you can retain it much longer than if you just study it for a week and then after the exam it's gone.
And now with AI, we can get into a really weird loophole there, but like if you think about it, AI knows everything, like someone can put in their brain, and you just give it a click and it's there, right? So that's the thing, like when you start realizing like, hey, there's a thing that we have created, well, humans, not us, but
not us, unfortunately not.
If not, we will be in South Maria.
we wouldn't be sitting here.
In Tulum at the beach.
Tulum and summer in South Maria.
Tulum and vibing high, vibrando alto.
Yeah.
But it's super interesting how like education is continually shifting, and so I think in a positive way also, well, that what I have seen so far is that also what you would tell me regarding your classes, but having also partners from actual businesses that are challenging with actual problems also helps to like see how to deal with that information that you have.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. And also coming back to the AI, like I read this quote last time, there was like, math was easier before the calculator started. So it's the same with AI. It opens new possibilities to change the education, and we have to take it. They will not disappear.
Yeah, we're gonna be in the matrix, in the real matrix.
In the real side quest.
in another 3.0 side quest. in the AI times in Mexico.
Yes.
Well, now we're going to the next section with no AI. But we can talk a little bit also about the nice things that you have encountered, okay?
That's great.
Bueno, a todos los que nos están escuchando, recuerden que este programa es en inglés y estamos con 2 alumnos. Tenemos una alumna de maestría, Anali, y tenemos a Dino, que él es de licenciatura, y nos están contando un poquito más sobre su experiencia de intercambio acá en el Tecnológico de Monterrey. Y pues continúen escuchándonos aquí en Tech Sounds Radio y están escuchando Global Connection.
Impacto positivo. Resultados de una experiencia académica. Positive impact.
And well, the positive things. Let's say, what are the things that you have seen so far here in Mexico that you're gonna take back with you?
I think the openness that I mentioned before. Just giving people a chance to get to know them and just being more open and also welcoming, because I was super glad that the people were like that when I arrived here, and I made some very great friends through that, so I definitely want to be a bit more like that when I come back to Switzerland.
Yeah, and I feel in Mexico you learn a lot that there's always a reason to celebrate. There's there's so many times where it's your dog's birthday. Let's make a party. Life is not always has to be that strict and hard. You can always have a good time and have good encounters and have fun and celebrate it. Also the small things, not just the big things.
The small. Have you been to a dog party here in Mexico? That was so random. I just thought that side quiz was going.
Not yet, but
well, if anyone is hearing,
when you have a dog and it's his birthday, I'm more than happy to come there.
And what about the things that you will see in your how academic might play how this experience in your future?
I feel like that openness we learned here is very valuable in all aspects of life, because if you can communicate with people from different cultures and just from different backgrounds, it opens a lot of doors. And through this experience here, we can understand, I feel like, especially people coming from Latin America, where they come from, what their values are. And just this whole package is great for us, because we've been living in a different culture for a semester, for a year, and it's another perspective. And whenever you have to solve a problem, there's not just one solution on one perspective. So I think we have the ability to look at problems from different angles and maybe be more effective in solving them.
Mm-hmm. And just like you said, the ability to talk to people, like, for example, here as an exchange student, you had to get out of your comfort zone, and then you talk to some people and you realize, okay, this is actually, it can be super easy. I think that's definitely something I'm taking with me, and not being so maybe in my head or only in my circle, but especially in a business where you get to meet, I don't know, new clients or whatever. Just taking this calmness with me that I gained a little here.
Just being able to being open for change. Like, we went through so many changes coming here from all different perspectives, and through this I feel like new challenges became smaller because we have this backpack with us.
Ready for any side quest.
Ready for any side quest anytime.
Bueno, pues para todos los que nos están escuchando, les vuelvo a comentar que estamos hablando con alumnos que nos vienen a visitar. Bueno, no nos vienen a visitar, están estudiando aquí con nosotros desde Suiza y nos cuentan un poquito de su experiencia aquí en el Tecnológico Monterrey. Recuerden que si no pudieron escuchar el episodio, lo pueden sintonizar. La grabación va a estar en YouTube. Y pues ya nos vamos al resumen y el cierre del programa.
Resumen. Summary.
And well, coming back to the summary and closing, I would like you to say what dishes are like 2 Mexican dishes or beverages that you will enjoy the most. And you need to also recommend something that people that are hearing us and they should definitely try when they go to Switzerland.
So first, Mexican food, a bit difficult for us because we don't eat meat.
You don't need meat?
No.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of options. I mean,
I say also beverages.
oh yeah, okay. Okay. Let's start.
Paloma.
Say less. Paloma is very good. Yeah. I mean, just everything with tequila in general.
Agree.
Like we're not used to good tequila, so that has been an incredible upgrade coming here.
So
Yes.
it changes a lot.
Yeah. It's
so
a
much
different
better
life.
here. Yeah. No, truly. And also horchata and agua de Jamaica. I love that, and we don't have that in Switzerland. Like,
No?
this is awesome. No,
Like the hibiscus flower is not there?
no, it's
I
not
don't
common
think
to
so.
have that. No,
It was my first time having
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. same.
Well, maybe you could do horchata back when you go back home because it's rice.
Yeah.
Yes, I also thought about that. I need to find a recipe for doing that for sure.
And of course, food-wise, for example, I love quesadillas. Like I eat quesadillas every day because it's just comfort food. And it's a very rich like culture food-wise. Of course, a bit limited if you don't eat meat,
Yeah.
but you can always find something. There's always options.
Yeah, true. And I really like tacos. I found some meat alternatives in the supermarkets. After some while, I finally found. And I'm now doing, I think instead of quesadillas, I'm like eating tacos every day. And also when I went to Mexico City, they had like these delicious vegan tacos that I really loved. So to try
There's
those.
a forever vegan restaurant that I went once there and the hamburger was really good.
oh,
Good
nice.
snacks,
To
Yeah,
try it.
yeah.
And what about like Swiss food that they should try?
Oh,
Raclette,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah?
It's like a dish
Rösti.
with-
How you say it's called?
Raclette.
Raclette.
Rösti. Try it. To pronounce it.
No, thank you. It's really difficult.
Not just to pronounce. No, it's the first one is a dish with cheese and like melted cheese and potatoes, which we mainly eat in winter, like in the colder months, with like canned vegetables. And the second one is potatoes rasped, like fried in a pan. It's actually quite easy to make, I guess.
It is.
Well, it's time to say goodbye now. So, how would you say goodbye in Swiss German? Let's say.
Cheese.
Cheers.
Cheers.
mach's gut.
Cheers. Cheers. Muchas gracias por escucharnos. Hasta la próxima.
Hasta aquí Global Connection. Te esperamos en nuestra siguiente emisión el miércoles a las 11 de la mañana, solo en Tech Sounds Radio 94.9 FM.